Potholes, we know they are the scourge of all road users, often causing accidents and expensive repairs.
Last week, the Chancellor set aside some money in the budget to help fix the problem, but campaigners say it's not enough. Joanne Rittall has been speaking to some in Staffordshire.
We've got a great support from the drivers and passers-by and cyclists because every road user affected by the potholes.
Olga Glass despises potholes in Burton so much that she stages protests against them.
We know where the potholes are, we brace ourselves, but we can not avoid hitting them. They're everywhere.
Evelyn Dean is sick of them too, and the pair got to know each other on social media due to their mutual hatred of craters in the road.
You're forever sort of swerving around potholes, trying to miss them.
Yeah, well, this is just an example of some of the tyres from the potholes recently that we've been out to. So, as you can imagine, when your tyre's going round and round, and suddenly, if you catch your tyre on the wrong part of the pothole, that's it. It's game over.
Last week, Greg Berger was called out to a road in Forton near Newport 14 times. The council says it's scheduled for repair. Greg covers Staffordshire, Shropshire and Derbyshire and says 70% of his work is due to potholes.
There's a line and a limit with these road surfaces and, you know, enough is enough. This is putting real customers out there that have to fork out the money out of their bank to fix their wheels or tyres, and it shouldn't be happening.
Staffordshire County Council's announced an extra £30 million of highways funding for the next 2 years. A spokesman said, while we're pleased we're expecting to receive around a £4 million share of the government's National Pothole Fund, we'd welcome a longer-term funding settlement for road repairs. In Nuneaton, Ruth Howard had to pay out £126 after damaging her car on a roundabout. And she wasn't the only one.
Chatting to the receptionist, she said I was the third customer that day with the exact same problem of having the coil spring snapping because of hitting a pothole. But when it's something that's not your fault, it's just more galling because you think, well, that's money I could have spent on my heating, on my food bill.
Warwickshire County Council said we've established a national reputation for swift responses to potholes and are consistently in the top 10 percentile of authorities in the country, according to the National Highways and Transport Survey. Regarding Griff Roundabout, we're aware of poor servicing and have plans to resurface it in the next financial year. We're currently inspecting the island regularly and carrying out localised repairs to ensure it remains safe and operational in the meantime. Back in Burton, Olga says she won't give up protesting.
If our roads will be properly repaired and timely maintained, I would need to stand here.
Staffordshire County Council said major repairs have been scheduled for Burton this year and £6 million will be invested in highways in the Burton area over the next 2 years. Joanne Rittall, BBC News.
So let's speak now to Mark Morrell, who's known as Mr Pothole. Very good morning to you, Mark. So on a basic level, anyone who's out looking at a road, they look at a pothole in their street or a place they go and they go, it's there, it's been there for ages, why can't it be filled in?
Yeah, I mean, lack of funding from central government's councils. I mean, repairing potholes is a waste of time, really, and money. We need to resurface our roads. I like the 14 tyres in one road and the council are programmed to do it. That's an emergency. That should be filled in within 2 hours because if a cyclist got killed on that, they've got no legal defence. I've got to the stage after 10 years of campaigning and investigating this. There are answers, but it's got to be central government funding. People are sick to death with the state of our roads and they're sick to death of excuses.
So, Mark, give us a sense of the disparity, because I'm looking at some of the detail. Jeremy Hunt announcing pothole funding boosted by £200 million, previously provided £500 million a year to councils. That'll be increased to £700 million, 23 to 24. What's the disparity between what they're suggesting for the problem and what's needed?
Right. The tune of the backlog at the moment is in excess of £14 billion, and it's got worse since the year 2000. The backlog was £3.75 billion. Government have no intention of tackling the state of our roads. They pay lip service. They take out lots of money to me and you, hundreds of millions, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to touch the sides.
Well, Mark, to be fair, they have committed some money, but I think there are some other numbers to dig into because the money was cut in previous years, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they cut £400 million from the general maintenance budget last year, this year, and next year. So that's £1.2 billion. So the £200 million they're giving back still means they cut off £1 billion in funding. Hence, I published a graph showing the increase in backlogs since the year 2000.
And I tell you what, I mean, one of the things that can help, I mean, if there's no... You could talk to anyone in any kind of campaigning capacity who is fighting for money. That is the fact of our times at this moment, isn't it? You know, the government is being asked for money from all sides. Technology can help, or at least kind of ease the burden. Is there any answer in that way? I'm remembering that our reporter John Maguire was out with a new kind of vehicle. It's got a name.
Pothole Pro.
Pothole Pro, that's it. Why can't they be rolled out, perhaps? And what difference, if they were, would that make?
They are being rolled out. Many councils are engaging. Stoke was one of the first, and I think I did some filming with the BBC One show. Since they've had that machine, they've done 7 years' work in 12 months. It just makes it so fast. It prepares a better quality repair. Every council and highways authority should be using those. As a British machine, is a British success. So there are things, there's thermal repairs that can be carried out, but it needs some capital investment, and it really needs that investment from government, because if you look at the amount of going out to social care for councils, they've had to cut virtually every other area as a result of those pressures. So I don't accept there's no money. There's plenty of money around. The government want to find it. In actual fact, investing in our roads would save the economy billions of pounds, because there's been reports proving that it's costing billions of pounds of badly maintained roads. I mean, I've been campaigning 10 years now.
I know, and you know what, Mark, it's good for you to come on the programme and talk to us about this. It's certainly something that resonates with our viewers as well. Mark Morrell, campaigner, a.k.a. Mr Pothole, thank you.
Guess what? Since we said we were going to talk about potholes, yes, we have got lots of pictures of potholes. Here you go. So this is Mears Court Road. This is in Gillingham. I'm trying to work this one out. It's a massive crater. This is how it's been described. That is affecting the pavement as well. It's actually quite hard to work out what's road and what's not.
Well, it all sprays up onto the pavement as well, doesn't it? This is in Braintree, in Essex. That's rather nasty. The viewer who sent this says that potholes have destroyed their car tyres. You do end up giving them names, don't you? This one has been dubbed the Grand Canyon of Congleton in Cheshire. And it's a nasty one.
And lastly, we've got a pothole in Ashington in Northumberland. This caused punctured tyres. Imagine, is that someone measuring it?
Yes,
is that okay, well, we can't quite read it, can we? I'm not sure how deep that is. It does look like that is a significant hole.
Yeah, and it actually popped the driver's tyre. Here's some moving images. It's posted on social media, filmed by a motorcyclist in Burnham Gate in Burnley earlier this week. I mean, that's just dangerous. Yeah.
And that's just one stretch of road, isn't it? You can see someone actually actively having to avoid parts of the road, which in itself, obviously, is dangerous. Thanks for all that stuff.